Hello everybody, Brad Johnson here, and welcome to the next episode of the Expansion Point. I again have to apologize for last week, as this is definitely being cut off by Facebook, so hopefully this week everything is going to be good for episode 12 of the Expansion Point, which we're going to be talking about today, Ascension Symptoms and Healing the Body. So I do have a PowerPoint presentation ready, and so we're going to dive right into it. Welcome everybody who's viewing this live, and everybody else who's viewing this via recording. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so I bumped the wrong button there. So looking into Ascension Symptoms. Ascension symptoms are common references indicating physical effects that each of us go through as we work through personal transmutation. Now, some of these common Ascension symptoms that have been shared relate to that of headaches or migraines, stiffness, upset stomach, high blood pressure, digestion issues, heart palpitations, just to name a few. I'm pretty sure there can be a couple others that others may be able to name as well too. So again, through a lot of my work in the past 10 years, I've had a lot of people that have come up to me and saying, "Oh, Brad, I'm feeling sometimes a little bit dizzy. I feel like I have headaches at times. I feel like there's heart murmurs or heart palpitations. I feel like I got like digestion problems, or my back or my neck gets sore." But I go to the doctor, and the doctor says, "You're fine, right? There's nothing wrong with you whatsoever. Go home," right? So could these be quote-unquote ascension symptoms? Is it just something that I'm experiencing that may be energetic in that way, that is work that is causing my body to go through headaches, migraines, nausea, digestion, etc.? To a degree, yes, that is the case. But as we move on here, the transmutation effect is not giving you these symptoms. It is the result of toxicity within the body that have reached a high level of buildup. Changes in bodily care are required to alleviate this toxic buildup, as toxic buildup can be brought in through base metals, can be brought in through pathogens, viruses, harsh bacteria. As your body changes, it becomes intolerant to the remaining debris within your body. But this doesn't only relate to physical purging. Your mental and emotional body will require detoxification as well too. So what's being said here is that your body is going through a transmutation process. Our bodies are changing. We're elevating our DNA within our body. Our sun has changed. Basically, we used to have a yellow sun back in the 1990s, and then it started to transition itself into a white sun. And of course, the entity that I channel, Adronis, spoke recently in regards to this, is that we now have a fourth density star. So a star that is working within the fifth dimension, or the fourth density. And what's happening is that we are going along for the ride, right? So all of the planets within our star system are heating up. They're all heating up from the inside, and we can see evidence of this as we look in satellite images, as we look into the heat building up throughout the planets. Now again, as we're going through this immense solar system change, the Earth is now elevating herself, and every form of life upon her surface is going to join along for the ride, right? So our DNA is changing. It is transmuting into a fourth density compliant body. So in other words, we're becoming a lot more lighter than we were before, right? We're moving much more into a crystalline matrix. We're moving more into where the body is functioning in more of an activation. So we're getting internal activations, DNA is coming online, our energy fields are fluctuating, and what happens is that the old aspect of ourselves that may have ate junk food, processed food, living in an environment that can be toxic, right, pollutants, and then we start getting these base metals, we start getting this toxicity within ourselves, and our body now starts to react to it. So they can't find any particular forms of viruses or strains or dysfunctions within the body that trigger these particular types of quote-unquote ascension symptoms. But these symptoms are again caused by internal toxicity within ourselves. They're not just created out of random, right? They're not just something that is created out of the blue here. This is something that is still within your body, and because your body is elevating, because it's lightening up to move from one density to another, then you're basically looking to completely detoxify your body on a physical, mental, and emotional level. Okay, not just physical level, right? So we can have base metals within our body, we can have toxins within our body, we can have pathogens and viruses and harsh bacteria within our body. But in order for us to really move into a greater understanding, we need to take care of the detoxification of our other bodies, right? So we have the four main bodies of our being, which is physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And of course, there's certainly overtones with a lot of those bodies as well too. But those are the four main bodies that are being talked about here in this discussion. Pounds and back pain, I think someone is saying. Yes, back pain, gaining weight, those two are other aspects as well too. But as I said, that has to do with toxicity within the body. That's basically looking into base metals, pathogens, viruses, a lot of things that are being held into that's actually causing our organs to be sluggish. Specifically the liver. The liver gets backed up too much, then that's how we get weight gain, right? That's how we have skin issues. That's why we have a lot of these particular forms of toxins that are in the body that's wreaking havoc. It's like throwing wrenches into machines, right? And having them go through some difficulty in regards to processing. That's what we're experiencing here. All impairments that affect us begin within the layers of the subtle body, mental and emotional, and of course spiritual. Our neglect, unwillingness, and denial in self-care build discrepancies within our energy body. If untreated, this will manifest into illness, disorder, and/or injury. Our bodies are in a continual mode of transmutational flux. DNA is changing, and our energy fields expand and contract through environmental and cosmic change. As we transmute, what remains in our body determines the effects we feel. So we see a picture here of what I would just call like an energy vortex in that way. We have to remember that everything that our physical body experiences, it's actually the last body to experience it. So when you're actually moving into your emotional body, your mental body, your spiritual body, these are the bodies that receive the subtle fluctuations that we're going through. And as we do not notice that, as we're not tuning into ourselves, as we're not listening to our guidance, and what happens is that all of this energy fluctuations that's coming into the other bodies are basically piercing into eventually the physical body. So this actually goes back into Kirlian research, what they would know as Kirlian technology, what they would use with aura technology. And they could actually pinpoint certain forms of viruses or diseases that a person has that's actually not in their body yet, but is getting a lot of energy to eventually manifest there, right? So looking into the aspects of the aura, we can, for someone who is quite masterful in looking at it in that way, detect a lot of particular upcoming illnesses, disorders, dysfunctions, etc., that have not yet manifested in the body, but are there in the aura. And guess what? This is all emotionally related, right? A person is basically putting a lot of these illnesses upon themselves. They have a lot of bodily neglect. They feel that they're suffering. They're feeling that they're just starving themselves in regards to this spiritual understanding of themselves. And so they sabotage themselves. So they will go into a state of self-sabotage and saying, oh, what if I get cancer if this happens? My father had diabetes. What if I get that? What about chronic illness, right? This may run in my family. What if this happens to me, etc.? And we're putting all of these thoughts intensely into our subtle bodies. And now our subtle bodies are having that appear because we're making that energy. You will never get sick if you are completely in alignment with your subtle bodies, right? If you're thinking in the way of great health, if you're working with your physical body, if you're talking with your body, if you're using things like kinesiology, muscle testing, energy testing, and you're starting to work with your body and you're asking your body what it needs, not what it wants, right? But what it needs, then what you're doing is you're eliminating all of those subtle manifestations within the subtle body. right? So you won't get ascension symptoms. Simple as that. But ascension symptoms is just the term we use for something that has not yet manifested as some particular type of disorder or virus or anything of that nature. It's an effect that we're getting in the body because there is still toxins within the body that need to be flushed out, right? So it's something that's not identifiable or diagnosed in that particular way that we can recognize. But there is something happening within the body, that we're getting toxins, that we're getting harsh bacteria, we're getting pathogens, we're getting base metals in the body, and it's wreaking havoc with our organs. And medical science has not yet been able to detect that quite well, right? But again, if you're looking into a lot of the Eastern medicine, where they're actually looking into your aura, they're looking into your energy body, they can detect it like that, right? This is why Western medicine is kind of like Neanderthal-based. No offense to them in that way, but they still look at only the physical body. They don't look at the other subtle bodies, which is extremely important, right? So what we're attempting to do is taking care of our body, where there's been a lot of neglect, where there's been a lot of denial, where there's been a lot of self-doubt and belief that have prevented ourselves from taking care of our body, from working with our body. This is, again, what's causing a lot of these symptoms to form, right? So again, when we're getting headaches, we're getting migraines, and we probably have a lot of loose base metals contained inside the brain that's actually affecting our neurology, right? We're getting heart palpitations, heart murmurs. Again, we can get certain forms of effects, certain forms of toxins within the heart as well too. Toxins within the liver, toxins within the kidneys, toxins within the lungs, right? All of this can happen. There's a book that I suggest to many people, and that book is called Medical Medium, right? And it is an excellent book. If you guys have not read it yet, I highly recommend it, right? Anthony William, who is the author of the book, connects with the spirit of compassion. Now, I've talked about compassion in previous episodes as well, too. And that is the closest energy there is, the closest consciousness there is, right next to God, right? And so his information that he has shared is absolutely astounding. And I would certainly recommend following a lot of his procedures that he notes out in his book. And he has quite a few books as well, too. So that would be a recommendation. And what you're doing is you're cleaning out your organs, right? You're cleaning out your body. And you're allowing all this toxicity that medical science can't detect that is the cause for many of these quote-unquote ascension symptoms. So like I said, your body is getting lighter, and it's changing in that sense, and it has a lower tolerance for any particular form of toxicity or pollutants within the body. It needs to become more lighter. It needs to become much more of an activated crystalline base. And so as long as we still have a lot of these particular forms of toxicities within our body, that's what triggers these effects. So it's not something that's just coming out of the blue with you. It is something that's happening within the body, but something in that sense that medical science cannot detect. Okay? So moving on. So what can we do to heal the body regarding these? Well, diet is an important part of the healing, but it is not the only part. So again, when you're looking into diet, when you're looking into food consumption, liquid consumption, again, look into the Medical Medium book, one of the highest recommended books I could give. Give your body what it requires to heal. But your own emotions and willpower are the greatest agents to self-healing. Okay, this is the greatest form, right? This is beyond any diet. This is beyond any simple physical exercise, is when you're able to work with your emotions and harness your willpower and intentions to allow self-healing to take place. Work with imagination and see your body improving by purging harshness from your being, right? So we see the diagram here of this guy in X-ray vision, being able to completely remove these toxins from his body, okay? This is something that you can do. I'm actually right now just starting to experiment with a brand new technique, you could say, and it's basically referred to as mitotic cellular regeneration, and actually being able to use the power of your own intention, going into theta state, as I've talked about before, right? I'm big on the theta state. It's very important, right? And being able to go within your body and reprogram your cells, okay? Here's the thing. Your cells are susceptible to your own programming, all right? So when you put your willpower towards your cells will therefore stand ready to receive your instructions. So you can basically do this, and there's a meditation that I have on my YouTube channel, which is called Cellular Organ Repair, okay? The core method. And you can find that for free on my YouTube. I'll see if I can put up a link here in the chat after the episode. But you can basically envision a cell within your body, a single cell, right? And you're just being able to cover it completely in loving, joyful energy, right? So it has like a golden aura around it. And now what you're doing is you're turning this into an absorption cell, right? So you basically see the word absorb in your mind's eye. And you're putting that directly into the cell. And you're embedding it into the cell. Now the cell is understanding that it is an absorption cell. It's able to now start to absorb any particular forms of debris that you wish. So then you could put the word virus, you can put the words harsh bacteria, you can put the word pathogen, you can put the word metals, and just put that all into the cell, just as you did with the absorb word. Okay? And now you're completely embedding that energy into the cell, again, using joyful feelings, using that theta state, right? Coming into theta and feeling very joyful. You're just seeing that you are this cell, this happy, joyful, loving cell. And once you put all the instructions in it, you're now replicating that cell several billion times, okay? So it's almost like you see an entire sea of cells directly behind this cell as it self-replicates. And now what you're doing is you're actually guiding those cells through your body, going through each organ, for example, and flushing out any particular toxins, metals, pathogens, viruses, harsh bacteria that you discover. This has worked. Okay, so actually if you go to my YouTube channel and you look at cellular organ repair, you'll notice that in the comments people have actually been able to try this and they've had great success with this. Okay, it's very, very easy. It's a simple guided meditation and you're flushing out your entire organs and other areas of the body that you choose that you feel may have certain forms of toxicities within it. Then we're basically doing a Qigong method, or a Qigong maneuver, I would say, which is known as Shaogong. Okay, it's very easy. It's just a clearing technique, right? So we're just basically moving our hands up, and we're just bringing them down, and we're feeling that the cells are moving with the hand, and we just station our hands down by the lower dantian, the navel chakra, okay? And what we're doing is we're offloading the cells so that all of that harshness that they have can now enter the digestive system to be processed and purged from your body through urination and through defecation, right? So all of that is coming out through the urine and through the stool, right? That's one technique that I've developed. Now, the other one I would say that Spirit has developed, right? I'm just the messenger for Spirit. So Spirit has showed me that, and I'm just conveying it in the best way I can as a carrier. And the second one I'm doing right now, that I'm working on, that I'm doing trials with, is what's known as mitotic cellular regeneration, okay? And that is taking a little bit more of an advanced level, where again you're programming the cells, but you're actually healing injuries in an accelerated level, right? So you're actually going through accelerated body healing through mitotic regeneration. So it's not a quote-unquote instant healing, but it's a much more accelerated healing as well too. There's a certain lesion on my body, not going to mention where, little private for that, but basically I'm clearing up that lesion that's been there for a while. And I was working with mitotic regeneration and another method that I have known as light circuitry. And waking up this morning, I've seen a great increase in healing with it. And this just happened overnight. So it's doing very, very well. So I'm very, very happy to see that this is going together very, very well. But again, these are just a couple of examples. These are kind of more deeper practices. But like I said, the video will be available if anybody wants to go ahead and check that out. Like I said, I'll be posting this in the chat after the live broadcast today. All right. So again, working with imagination. Seeing your body improving by purging harshness from your being, okay? Now here's a very simple exercise you can do. A simple example is known as shower energy detoxification, okay? So you're stepping into a shower, okay? And you're going into the theta state, okay? All of these require theta states, just letting you know, okay? So again, when you're going into the shower, just being able to really feel that water that comes upon your body as golden light, right? So you're basically feeling like an ecstatic, an excitement, a great joy as the water hits your skin, okay? That's you going into theta. Now what you're basically doing is you're working with the pores of your body, and the pores are purging out kind of like the green energy here that you see in the diagram, right? Seeing those kind of green globs, right? And so we're seeing that green toxicity coming out of the body, actually spilling out of the pores. And the golden light within the shower is washing it away. Okay, I've done this. And this actually makes your shower experience 100 times more better. Just being able to get into the theta state, relax yourself, feel the water as golden light, feel it just raining down upon your body, and you're feeling ecstatic, you're feeling excited. It feels like you're just going into pure rejuvenation here. And now you're just allowing all of those toxins within your body. And you can just say out loud, toxins leave my body, right? Toxins leave through my pores. And so through the pores of your skin, these green blobs, in that sense, you can see it as like, it gets a little gross, but it's all part of releasing the toxins from your body. Sometimes you can almost see it as green slime coming out of the toxins and washing away, or green mist, or again, these little balls, these little clusters of green energy that are being purged out of your pores of your skin, and you're washing it away with what you envision as the golden liquid energy that's cascading across your body. Okay? Very, very powerful method. I've done this many times in the past, and it works amazingly. Like I said, your shower experience is 100 times better than what you're feeling. Then, of course, there's a cellular organ repair that I just talked about. And, of course, the third example is breath purging. Okay, so this is, again, just using simple breath, right? So just taking a deep breath in. As you breathe in, you're imagining that you're breathing in golden light, right? You can put any other type of color frequency if you want there. You can put a relaxing frequency like a turquoise frequency there, whatever you want to do, that's fine. But you're breathing in this light, and you're just feeling that energy just coming right into your body, going all the way down to your navel. Okay, as you breathe in. And as you exhale, you're imagining you're just lifting all the toxins from the navel upwards and purging it out through an exhaling breath. And you can almost see it as like black smoke or black mist coming out of your body. And what you're doing is you're taking that black smoke and black mist and putting it into nature. Okay, so even if nature isn't around you, then just go ahead and put the black smoke into the trees, put it into the bushes. Nature will naturally absorb that. Okay, that's exactly how nature thrives. It thrives off the toxins that you actually purge, and nature just gobbles it up and completely absorbs it and transmutes it. Okay, very, very simple technique there is the breathing technique. So again, this is helping to expel a lot of that toxicity altogether. Then finally, we have what I call the EQ method. Okay, now the EQ method is something that's available on my website. It's newearthteachings.com. Okay, and this is a very advanced form of healing. It works with your core energy healing system. Okay, so this is something that's available. It usually takes about 20 to 25 minutes. And what we basically do in this is we use substitution, right? So we're substituting any traumas, any heavy emotional states, anything in that sense that really is causing you to feel personal havoc and conflict within yourself. And we're replacing that with love energy, right? This too involves the theta state. So we go into theta and we basically work with bringing in all this pure love energy, and we swap it. We swap the dense energy, the dense harsh energy. We release that energy, and now we put it in its place, the new love energy that comes together. And all of the EQ methods that I've been doing so far have been all successful. I have yet to meet anybody who has not been able to have some really positive results with the EQ method. So again, the EQ method can be found on my website, www.newearthteachings.com. Sessions are available. And again, about 20 to 25 minutes, you feel this great healing effect that comes together, this instantaneous effect as you release the dense energy through you and you put the love energy into yourself. It's one of the most powerful techniques that have come through me through spirit, relating to helping with equivalent exchange, substituting dense energy, dense emotions, dense traumas for loving energy, harmonious energy, compassionate energy, and putting that into your body. It also works to heal areas of the body as well too, which means you can direct this energy that you put into your body, and you can use it to nourish your organs. You can use it to enhance your vitality. You can use it to increase memory. There's all kinds of things you do. It's limitless, right? So that's something you guys can check out, the EQ method. Okay? All right. So that is basically going to wrap up our discussion today about ascension symptoms. So in summary, ascension symptoms are just toxins within the body that have not been noticed or detected by medical science or diagnosed in that way. They're basically, in that sense, undiagnosable, right? Because they're very subtle things, but they do affect our bodies in pretty grand ways. And we want to flush them out. We want to take care of our organs. We want to flush out our organs. We want to take care of our blood pressure. We want to make sure that our blood is being purified, right? We don't want to have toxins within our blood. So we're basically doing all of these particular forms of measures through diet, through exercise, but most importantly, through emotional balancing and through your own personal willpower and intention, and working with the power of your imagination. Okay, so for a guy who does this work, who works together with willpower and emotional balancing, and for those of you who haven't done it yet, I can tell you this works. Okay, and I've been working with a lot of people all over the world, thousands of people from all over the world, and a lot of them have come to me for these particular types of sessions, and they've seen incredible results because they did it, right? I'm just guiding them through the process. 99.99999% of the work is you, right? So you're doing all of that intense work. You're doing all the heavy lifting within yourself, and you're purging yourself of these energies altogether. So again, very, very powerful techniques that you guys can use. Okay. Since we got a couple minutes left, I'm just going to go through the chat here. If anybody has any comments or questions that they have, I'm just kind of looking through the list right now. Okay, Taylor asks, do you have any preferred resources on how to learn about muscle testing? You can find a lot of muscle testing techniques on YouTube for free, right? So I would just say go to YouTube, talk about muscle testing, or type in the word kinesiology, right? And there's a lot of online videos on YouTube that you can find for free that teach you about it. But it is actually very simple. It's a very simple art to do, right? I can give an example about how it works right now, okay? So basically, I just use my arm just like this. Right? I learned muscle testing back in about 2008, right? So just holding out your arm just like this, okay? So some people may want to use like the rings, you know, the chain of the fingers like this to try and pull them apart. Some people will put their ankle on top of their knee and try to push the ankle off their knee to see if it's strong or weak. But again, I just do this, just using the arm technique, right? So I say, is my name Brad? And I get a strong response, okay? Is my name Jim? I'm getting a weak response, okay? Very simple. That's kinesiology, right? So all you're doing is you're keeping a neutral mind. You might just want to take a deep breath in, deep breath out, because I've been doing kinesiology for so long. It's natural to me, right? But if you're starting out firstly, clear your mind, right? Go into theta, right? That's my top recommendation to anybody. If you're doing any particular type of inner practice, go into theta state. Okay, it relaxes you. You feel very, very vivid and lucid between your physical body and your spiritual self. Okay, so work with the theta method. If you guys do not know how to work with the theta method, check out the very first episode of the expansion point, okay, where we talk about the theta state and how you can get involved with it as well too, right? There's also another video on my channel, which is called Adronis, Unleashing God Mind, okay? And that too talks about the theta state. But again, just being able to do this and just detecting a strong or a weak response, okay, with a neutral mind, okay? So you're not thinking, oh, this is going to be strong or this is going to be weak, because you're trying to influence it in that way. So you want to make sure that you're keeping a very neutral, unbiased mind, and just being able to test yourself with simple questions. But again, go onto YouTube. You'll find some free information there as it relates to kinesiology and muscle testing. Okay, guys, we are out of time for this week for the expansion point. I want to thank you all for joining me. Again, feel free to check out my website, newearthteachings.com. Love and appreciation to everybody here on the Akashic Academy. I'm glad my episode stayed on the air, so didn't cut out at all. It's a great sign. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of the week, and I'll talk to you all next week in the next episode of the expansion point. Take care, and may it be well with you all. Thank you.